for all 2 of the 3 champions, but I have to wait and see who is a bit more used to that, given the small amount of time they've had. And a fight breaking out immediately, and guitarreichon gets taken down straight away. And nosfa taking a healthy lead, 10 seconds into the first round.
We've seen that start just, you know, 1 million times already, where if you're both Anarchy or an aggressive champion in general, and one spawns near LG, and you both kind of clash heads near that location, it's likely that the one with the LG is just probably going to win that exchange, because it's such an important weapon to have early on.
Especially 10 seconds in, when only one of you can actually have it, because there hasn't actually been time for it to spawn.
Or if guitarreichon spawns closer to the heavy armor, I mean, realistically, maybe one of the only things he's likely to have in that exact path thing could potentially been a rail along the way, and that's not really going to be enough, but he's done a great job of surviving so far. Even at this health, nosfa clearly has to be very careful. But he does actually chase it down, and he's been known to do this multiple times, just walking into what, in many ways, would be obvious death, but still managing to come off
Speaking of obvious death, not going to die there, because the damage over time reduction to the Solar acid doesn't do 50 anymore, so nosfa wouldn't actually been in danger there. Oh, this is a rail. Collects the heavy armor, though. This is bad news for guitarreichon, and that is going to be that.
We've already seen, in a very short space of time, how much of a difference the ticking damage has done with Sorlag. I mean, it's just nowhere near as prominent. It's still going to give Sorlag the data. You can still find out where your opponent's going to be, because the damage numbers will appear through walls. But the damage itself seems to be a lot more manageable as you're trying to run away.
Still, though, nice strong start coming out from nosfa. We saw him do this earlier on. I think it was nosfa that had the... was it him that had the shortest match we've had today? I'm sure
guitarreichon was the one that was being unbelievably dominant.
Of course. But in a ton of events, though, guitarreichon able to return and take the first frag of the round himself. Much better start, getting that Anarchy off the board from nosfa.
Seeing how nosfa plays on the back foot against, I mean, like a fellow aggressive Anarchy, right? There's all these little bits of information that both these players are going to want to take in early throughout the series.
So controlling the heavy armor is going to be really important. These 2 champions, but there's that fight taken immediately. guitarreichon taking out nosfa immediately, and in a complete turn of events, it's going to be basically a mirror of the last round coming through from guitarreichon now.
And this is what you want. I think that was a really good decision that he's probably going to try and get an LG on spawn. Tries to go in for the injection, but hey, if he can rush him on spawn now, nosfa is still in big trouble here.
He won the fight, but he's not very healthy. If guitarreichon can get a good weapon and find him now, he might be able to do something with it, but looks like it's going to be a little bit too long.
Yeah, guitarreichon just sort of went down that ledge. I kind of wonder what his weapon situation would have been like there. Has allowed nosfa to get a little bit of that stack back up. Oh, they trade the rails. Now nosfa's in big trouble. Doesn't want to take a single one of those anymore. Oh, saw those legs drop down. And the aggression.
Immediate death too, tying up 1 round apiece. I'm not going to lie, after seeing how one side of the first round was, I might have thought to myself, hang on, we might have another very short set on our hands, but wasn't meant to be, apparently, as we go down to 1 round apiece.
Well, in typical fashion, it's kind of like what we've seen so far, where it's a good start. If you get a good start with someone like Anarchy, the classic snowball effect that you can put on Quake Champions duel.
But that's another
It's happened to each of them so far.
That's another observation to make, though. Like beforehand, like this has been fight immediately again, and they stick through it to the end, and nosfa's going to win it this time. And a quick little LG of his body, the slight BM. But
he may want that 6 ammo later.
This is very much like the same proposition. And another fight immediately. He's actually going to win this one. The damage over time. No, 1 piece of health will actually save him.
How many times will that sort of like the reduced tick damage actually sort of be really favourable for nosfa at the moment? I'm not saying that's the absolute be-all end-all right there, but it's going to put less pressure on him, knowing that he's less likely to die in as many ticks. That's the important thing. Someone as fast as Anarchy being able to get at least 1 health item. If it goes from 3 ticks to 4, for example, that's the extra time he needs to get the healthy ones.
But that's an interesting thing about what's happened so far in this match, because this is the same composition we've seen people use in duel for weeks on end now. But normally it's been Sorlag first, like through everything. You put Sorlag first and that's it. But now we're seeing Anarchy return to his spot. That first one, there we go! nosfa running in full speed ahead with a point-blank rocket to take out another champion. But guitar on this next. We have to wait and see what happens now, because we know that guitarreichon did his entire sweep on Anarchy too, so losing that first Anarchy fight seems to have a big effect on both of these players.
And that's not a good situation for guitarreichon either. You didn't see him re-emerge. That is going to be good that he's going to be able to temporarily survive. Even right there, you know, sort of like I-zig, you-zag kind of scenario. Hasn't been able to catch sight of him. But right here, we could see a crazy fight on our hands. But once more, just consistently slipping the net. guitarreichon so far.
Still looking through.
A little bit of a spike there, unfortunately, but looks like it's been cleared up now.
Yeah, looks like it's okay at the moment. Got himself mega health in the process too, so not the end of the world. Guess he's just listening to that teleporter, knowing guitarreichon is near the exit.
Ah, he's going to chase this. There is no world where he's not going to chase that one. I mean, he saw it was likely guaranteed. He piled straight into it. It's nosfa, right? Very aggressive, and he's been aggressive all day. That was a guaranteed kill.
Yeah, again, not surprising seeing him go for it. These are two players with seemingly a lot of aggression that they can go for if they need to. But I think a big part of it seems to come down from the Anarchy. So I think this first frag is going to be so important for both of them, because they both run the Anarchy first. They both want to install the same kind of snowball game plan to each other. But ultimately, if you lose your Anarchy, a big part of that is a big old spanner thrown in the works.
It's been the story of who can take care of whose Anarchy first. Looks like we might have a surprise attack on our hands, though.
Now he's hiding around.
Oh!
Around the corner, ready for it. Immediately swapping to LG2.
That one made me jump. We couldn't see the X-ray.
Still very close now. And the mega health going to be up too, so nosfa able to get the better of that exchange, I think. But heavy armor to guitar as well. Oh, point blank. Rockets coming through. Both players having the injection, but no armor for nosfa is a big deal, because any rail is going to take him out at the moment.
And that's when you have two Anarchies that both have rail. You know, it's the heavy armor in some ways is probably more beneficial than the mega, because if you get hit by one rail and that's it, you know, you're going to go down. You have no armor to soak it up. Yeah, it does miss that one.
Heavy armor though, we're going to be trading out. Yes, we are. Interesting fight here, but you can see both players actually being a lot more careful. But nosfa caught in the air, probably gonna die. Oh! How somehow guitarreichon completely drops the frag. That should have been guaranteed.
I am so surprised we saw nosfa walk away from that exchange with his life. I mean, one of the most guaranteed ways to go down in this game is a jump pad into LG, and that was a classic example, but he just got better rockets, did the damage. I mean, he's even sort of fumbling a little bit of his movement there. What if he's gonna get punished heavily, but guitarreichon may live to regret that one quite significantly.
The problem is this is still going to be map point for nosfa. If he wins this, he's going to be going up 1-0, and you don't want to be down that kind of deficit. This is qualification game. You win this, you go to Dreamhack, and both of them have won a ton of games to get to this point. And it always sucks having to go down to lower bracket when you get this far. Oh wow, that's two rails, but he's still getting chased. He has the injection if he needs it. Gets some cover from the walls, and there we go. That's going to be easily finished off. Walks into some acid, but I don't think he's really going to mind with mega health coming up any second now.
Oh, they both went for it, but it has a tight angle. Oh,
Actually, looked like that one was going to hit for sure.
he lined it up. Oh, he's been able to connect it, but guitarreichon was able to get a little bit of an edge right there.
So that final miss. Unfortunately though, nosfa, he has had incredible rails, but sometimes when push comes to shove, and it literally comes down to hit rail, win game, miss rail, lose champion. He has consistently been losing them in those exact kind of
It's like when we saw nosfa fight Kicks, even though obviously nosfa was the victor in that series.
The 6-minute overtime, we have to remember why that lasted so long, right?
Because when nosfa needed just one rail, he was consistently failing to land it. He would land all the rails he needed, apart from the final one.
Oh, we did get one here. He potentially just needs one more, but I don't know, lightning gun. He just goes for there we go, there's the exchange. Goes for it, keep himself alive.
Gonna run out. Oh, they catch the rocket. That was a bit of a strange exchange right there, to be completely honest. That's actually the map done, just like that.
Well, that's going to be it. I mean, a very sudden end to that one. I wasn't really sure what was going to be happening there. It looked like both players going for the Ghost Walk. They were both going to kind of disengage maybe, but it looked like they both fully intended on staying aggressive, but it was almost like they weren't too sure when to start.
I mean, the Mega was pretty much right there as well.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like, I'm assuming they both had the same idea.
There are a lot of potential distractions, I think, at the very least, but already a very quick map, and it's going to be going towards nosfa taking the lead, which is good to see, I think. You know, he really has been having a good day so far. He has been accurate, like I said. He has been swapping at the perfect time. His champion management has been great, especially if he gets that first frag. If you give him the early lead, it seems like he will happily just run away with it as far as he can.
It seems to be quite a scary situation when you give up that first champion. You kind of allow him to be as aggressive as he's been all day. I think Ruins of Sarnath is not even, I think, the easiest map to do that on. There are definitely maps where we've seen him actually take rounds significantly faster, even against really good players that we've seen today. Blood Covenant being the map we see next. This was the marathon map we saw nosfa play just now against Kicks, where well, again, I guess to talk about it, the essentially 10-minute round, we had 6 minutes of overtime on top of an already 5-minute round before that point. It was ultimately nosfa that came off better in that exchange, but he had to work really hard for it. But clearly it's a map that I think he has a good job on. I think the edge that guitarreichon is going to have is that he is no doubt likely to go in with champions to have more mobility, so he's probably going to, at the very least, be able to just keep up. I think not being able to keep up with nosfa is going to be a real big problem. If you can't cover the same angles and can't navigate the same way he can, he is just naturally going to have that edge on you. So this champion selection is, be it probably going to be predictable, is very important.
Still, though, saying that, we are going into the same kind of thing at the moment, but do we see any spicy picks in that third position? That really is the question of the day.
This is the point, do you risk it at this stage? When you're one map down, do you risk it?
But the thing is, this is actually, you know, we're talking about nosfa's like weapon management the whole day, but this was the map that he had those like insane rails on, like those real make or break rails in a lot of, but it was also the map that he got the overtime because he kept missing them. So it seems like a map that nosfa seems to not be quite as consistent on overall, but is definitely not weak on by any stretch of the word.
I find that's a really weird case of inconsistency, where your rails are pretty much out of this world, apart from the ones that matter the most. That's almost like a level of consistency that you don't want.
That's kind of the opposite effect that you want. But
you do all the work, and then at the last minute, not being able to finish it means that all the work you've done is kind of like, obviously, the word pointless is not the word, but I think you know where I'm going.
At the very least, his LG is consistently good no matter what, it seems. So as long as he can get towards that sort of mid-range, I guess we might see something crazy. But we'll have to wait and see, as it looks like we're going to be about 20 seconds away from the end of this warm-up while the players get themselves ready. It's going to be the same composition again, so Anarchy, Nyx, and Sorlag again. And just to remind you guys at home, this is Dreamhack Winter qualification game. We're going to be finding 2 players qualifying from South America today. It's going to be 1 winners, 1 losers. This is the winners action final. So whoever wins this is going to be going 100% winner side.
What we are about to find out is who is the most dominant player of the day. We're going to find out the player that makes it through losers later on.
Basically
after a few more matches.
well, because this entire day has just been only South America as a region. So this will be who is the strongest player in South America currently.
Because if you are able to qualify for Dreamhack Winter through the winner's side, holding that accolade of strongest South American player, kind of it paints the biggest target on your back, doesn't it? Going into the LAN, you're the player that everyone's going to be preparing for. These are the matches that people will be watching, doing their research.
Still, though, if you can give matches for people to research, just give a complete stomp and go, well, you can study me all you want, but this is the kind of stuff I'm going to be doing. Still, though, guitarreichon, we did see him have the most dominant set of probably the entire series today earlier on versus ETJX, so if he can get some of that magic back, we might see some craziness. So far, nosfa is consistently kind of just shutting him down. Oof, this is a rail just by the skin of his teeth.
I feel like with nosfa being this weak, I mean, clearly he tried to fight for the Mega right there, but if you're going to be consistently that weak where essentially one well-placed rail will take you out, it means you can't really bully as much on the point. You can sort of try and get a couple of hits here and there, but when you're forcing yourself to stick as little of your hitbox around the corner as possible, you're limiting your angles, right? You're limiting the ability you have to get a good line of sight, which makes landing the shot a little bit more difficult.
A huge surprise actually to see guitarreichon go towards Bloodkill as the map though, because we were talking about his dominant set earlier on. This was the map that he was like next level powerful on, even though he's going to lose this 1v1. If he can bring some of it back, he might do it right, but still, he did go down quite easily there to nosfa, who is still on Anarchy, still has that.
You got caught in a jump pad, I suppose. That's difficult to survive.
It happens.
Difficult to survive those exchanges sometimes.
Already talked about how awkward of a 1v1 it can be to be Anarchy versus Sorlag, considering her massive amount of health. But still misses that, again, one of those crucial rails that we just decide the 1v1 and decides to just say, I've had enough, they're going with LG, and that does it too.
That was a really funny rail, actually, the first one he hit near the, before the heavy armor got picked up. It was a mile away. But I guess he just must have expected it to go in that certain direction, right? Already dedicated to an angle. Oh. This would be the game-changing rail. I wonder if guitarreichon.
Oh my lord! Follows and eats 100 damage direct
on the top of the head.
Top of the head on the way up. Definitely not what he expected to happen there, but that's going to be a nice, clean round.
Round begins in.
Well, he's got. I think when you're running this much momentum, getting that first round is very, very good for your morale. Especially when the final play of that is an impressive sort of mid-air rocket.
Yes, indeedy. But we'll be trading out the mega health for the heavy armor, as we see all the time. But a quick adjustment. It's going to be Anarchy versus Anarchy from the get-go now. So no messing around with Nyx instead.
He's got the gauntlet in hand, yeah, just in case he catches him around the corner. He'd already swapped the OG, just in case! Pop the injection at the last second. nosfa's going to have a little bit of an edge here that he didn't have to use his. He's been able to save it. but will he have a chance?
Behind.
Oh, he's stuck. Nope, never mind. Caught using the animation, and I mean, can't fight back during the injection, right?
Right as the Mega Health spawns too. Another one of those brilliant circumstances for guitarreichon to be in. He catches nosfa though. Misses a rocket.
That's unfortunate that rocket actually hit the bottom there. That looked like it was on target.
Oh, he is so low. Oh my lord, what a shot!
nosfa had this. He had the idea. I love the next level just awareness. Like guitarreichon, he knew that he was weak enough, and he knew that rail from down there onto heavy was a likely angle that nosfa was likely to take. He used that against him. He knew he was going to be there and just took the rail first. Fantastically well played.
He's still chasing though. guitarreichon tries to go in, but nosfa is going to make him pay for it. Almost a little bit too aggressive coming out of guitarreichon there, knowing that still solag, even though it's by herself, only has, or still has, a significant amount of health to take down.
Oh, piles in. Minimal damage. Oh no.
Misses jump for the rail, has to take 2 rockets worth of damage. Wait, what was that?
That was...
was there even anything there to hit?
Must have been the edge of the tail or something like that, but confident shot. I suppose, why not take it?
The problem is he then missed the 2 ones following it. So it's like hit the impossible shot and then missed the ones following it up, unfortunately. That's going to even things out.
It kind of goes back to that inconsistency that we talked about, where some of his rails are ridiculous, like the one that we just saw, but then the other 2 that he definitely needed didn't really connect at all.
I think he's going to need to neaten that up if he wants to close this out now. Otherwise, we're going to be going down to a map 3 at this rate. Starting through with that Anarchy. But I think that was a big part of the last round too. Whoever's Anarchy survived first ended up winning the round for the most part. See, they test the LG. Oof, because I was not going to have an LG yet either. Waiting for it to respawn, but be careful. Oh, that rail would have actually ended his life.
Does he commit? No, doesn't want to go too heavily. 1 rocket is going to put him in a bad spot. nosfa has been so consistently keeping a hold of his injection. He doesn't spend it until absolutely necessary.
He has been winning a lot of these 1v1s, so clearly he works out to a degree.
I feel like he really relishes winning that Anarchy 1v1 and forcing the injection out of his opponent before he even has to actually use his, though. Like, even right now, I think he's more confident he can run away and then get his health back with the regular pickups rather than using his injection. Save the injection until, you know, a life or death exchange, which might be right now.
That was a big damage rocket, though. Oh, missed him! That was nowhere near, unfortunately, that time. So we're really starting to miss some of these make or break rails.
Stopwatch.
He has got Mega, so even if he doesn't secure the frag, the important thing there, I think, was making sure that he's able to keep some level of control at the very least.
He's waiting out, maybe trying to bet on this heavy armor, but it's not going to be up for a long time.
Yep, he's going to be there for a while if that's the play he's going after.
Still see him up top. guitarreichon is there. Is he waiting up behind him? Teleporter. Oh, he's going into the Mega Health. Back was turned at just the wrong time, and now that's what you're talking about. That injection forced out guitarreichon in this 1v1. Now nosfa can chase him and have his own if he wants to catch him.
Yeah, I was looking for the angle, but guitar had already out of there. guitarreichon. Oh dear. Gotta be careful. Yep. I mean, why even go for the rail? No!
It looks like it literally went in between his legs. That was a crucial shot to miss.
Ever so slightly missed, and it just funnels back into the same old inconsistencies we've been talking about.
Oh, nosfa's been caught on spawn, doesn't have any weapons at all. Oh, doubles back. Ah, Bakes to get the LG, I like it.
I feel like part of that might have been that he did it a little bit too early and didn't get the wall jump and just kind of had to try and recover with an LG instead, but guitarreichon, is he not going to chase that? Yeah, I think he just doesn't want to walk into any danger. He had more health, but maybe he didn't want to take that risk. I mean, this is potentially his map to lose here. If he loses this map, he's going to be in losers.
He's got a lot of breathing space for mistakes, that's for sure.
This is where you see some of the decisions they get challenged a bit, you know, they get questioned on the fly.
It seems quite hard for him to actually get this damage out of guitarreichon. This could be a good fight, but we'll only just manage to win that one. Not bad at all, considering he didn't have Ghost Walk. There was literally no way out of that one. He either won the fight or died.
Little bit of a fumble there, but seeing as he's fresh off the spawn, he's not going to be, I guess, too worried. But it's still a long time till the Mega actually appears.
And he's not full health either. This is a bad situation for him to be in, especially against a Sorlag. Oh, Skrog is down there. He didn't see him. No, this is more what he needs. Getting that full stack online. Still doesn't have a railgun though. Looking to remedy that as soon as he can.
He wasn't challenged there either, so...
Oh, missed another shot!
We are seeing a couple here and there from both players, but I think that's to be expected this late in the tournament where, I mean, tensions, they will be at an all-time high right here. Players are not going to be, I guess, comfortable, right? They're not going to be in a situation where they're going to be as free-flowing. The stress will start to add up.
Might get health up, though, at the very least. Not bad at all. Oh, another missed rail. That one connects, though.
Oh, that one almost looked like it sort of clipped the wall. You'll be careful. Oh, even at 29 HP, he's got to get out of there.
Still, after those crazy exchanges, he's still finding himself down on life all the time.
But he's fighting. I feel like he decided to try and fight it for the split second. I don't think that was a good idea. That split second, he hesitated and tried to potentially take the fight was more than enough time to make it so that he could not escape from guitarreichon in that exchange.
Just gamma rocket launcher, but he's doing anything else. He hasn't got a lightning gun, which is really hurting him here. Oh, big shot.
Just needs to keep them up. It's been a consistent problem he's had. The anticipation of where guitarreichon's going to be, he's been accurate. However, the accuracy of the weapon is where he's been sort of falling short. You know, the read is there, but the execution is not.
Speaking of short, a few seconds away from going into the overtime, and I don't think we're even going to reach it to that point at this moment. There we go. Doesn't have enough time to physically do enough damage, I think, and we go down to what could be a turnaround point for guitarreichon. You have to remember, last time these guys fought in tournament, it was guitarreichon that was able to win that, but could have been a while ago for all we know now. At least it was, at the very least, it was a different patch of the game.
Oh, it definitely would have been too. And that's what no one can forget is the patch. It's made quite a significant change.
Still, though, again, it comes down to really not losing that first champion. Anarchy being such an important champion, I think, for both of them, especially for nosfa.
I've seen the Anarchies go down quite quickly on this map. Almost every round, you know, one of the Anarchies goes down in well, no time at all, really.
Remember, he is quite squishy, even though he's quite a big target, small target to hit, I should say. Oh wow, that's a lot of damage. guitarreichon left without any armor.
Undone by the Mega, but even with that small armor, he's going to be happy with the Mega at the very least.
Well, there you go, ambushed by the LG, but he doesn't follow it up. You have to be so careful. We're seeing a lot of these rockets used defensively when you know you're losing that LG belt to try and stop people from following you.
When you're consistently colliding in close quarters or in hallways and corridors, theoretically you could chase it, but I think you can tell that they're really sort of doing the risk calculation in their head and they don't think it's worthwhile. Here comes the LG! nosfa, for the first time in this map, he used it first. We very rarely see nosfa go in for his injection first. He chases it down! And the chase will be successful.
But Guitar going straight to Sorlag. Only one armor pickup away from getting full armor again. The heavy armor, in fact, is here. Ooh, big damage. It's a chase.
But we can see the speed of which nosfa is able to actually accelerate the pace of the match the second he gets one of those rails. The second he gets a rail that puts him in charge of what's actually going on, the turnaround is really quick. He's likely to lose Sorlag. No, he does get away in time! The second he lands one of those rails, I mean, it is a completely different story. It's when he misses them, it gives guitarreichon that space, the time.
Here's, again, is that caution. nosfa has normally been very aggressive, but this time...
I mean, just shots like that that are so tight and so last minute. He does land them, but not consistently. There he is.
That could be enough.
Oh!
What?
I have no idea.
Sure like it was going to connect.
I honestly have...
But then, you see, there's no confidence in the rail at that moment and decides to swap away from it. Oh, he doesn't have any rail ammo.
I mean, that's actually quite a vital thing. And it goes back to the fact that some of the weapons, you get a little bit less ammo for collecting them.
He needs to go top that up ASAP. So unfortunately, Guitar just got away with his life when it looked like he really shouldn't have done. Oh, big damage there. Again, misses the follow-up, though. The inconsistency is very puzzling.
Well, them actually might not beat some of the changes to the ammo. Obviously, he actually got 10 rail from the railgun there. So if I'm incorrect there, apologies as always. But this is a great situation for nosfa. When he's this far back and he's on the verge of essentially a 3-champion sweep. and then he'll put himself onto match point. Oh, there we go. Oh, the patience. Oh no, the last minute he survives! That was a crucial 1v1 to win. Absolutely vital. And that's going to be match point for nosfa.
But again, it's one of those really interesting turning points that nosfa, this is match point, but for guitarreichon, this is just to tie things up. You might have an entire map left in him at this point. But again, then you're starting to go down to that game 3 territory that your endurance is really tested. You know, especially in a game like Quake, where games can go on to be quite long, and
well, nosfa knows all about that.
of course, but also means that you're really tested, right? That you require a lot of concentration, a lot of constant timers, a lot of, you know, reactions, predictions, all that good stuff. But in a game like this, where mistakes are punished so hard, you can't afford to be anything but completely focused.
He's had a really good gauge.
Oh,
he's had a really good gauge on where guitarreichon is. And he's headed him off again for a final time, potentially.
That was a really good decision. He jumps down immediately, not wasting any time. That was just absolute perfect aggression from nosfa. And taking out Guitar's Anarchy is so important, as that really has been the crux of a lot of his damage. Much of the same for him, I suppose. Trying to go for that lightning gun, and he gets headed off. Wow, a complete snap.
Okay, so but in typical fashion, doesn't quite get the second. And will he pay for his life? Oh, he will!
Get the hit, but died anyway. But look how low he is. He needs to find him immediately, so Guitar can heal up.
I think that's actually why he is rushing it. He is rushing this something fierce. Oh, I mean, he spawned right near the LG. That was all he needed.
He spawned near the LG and knew the Guitar was likely to wait for the heavy armor, so he made that read, went straight there, and now he finds himself one champion away from winning and qualifying for Dreamhack Winter. So close now. And the Guitar's Nick stands in the way of him and having to play another map.
Can he win this exchange? I mean, I don't think he has any confidence. Does he chase this? He was thinking about it.
Oh no! He doesn't have Ghost Walk at all! And there we go! Lands into the jaws of death itself, and solag lies waiting. And that's going to be it. nosfa moves on as your winner's side qualifier from South America.
We pretty much saw what happened when nosfa was landing a lot of his crucial shots and was able to follow up, compared to when he wasn't able to land them as often as he kind of needed to.
It was night and day. When you miss all your shots, it's like the round would begin to drag on. He'd lose opportunities where he had the lead. He'd lose, you know, control over certain things, all because he was missing a few shots. But when